Hello and welcome to Our Ventura. I'm your host for today, Frank Malle, and we're very fortunate to have in our studio the very lovely and very talented Miss Amanda Lynne, aka Cabaretro. Amanda, welcome to our
Thank
studio.
you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Our pleasure. So, I understand that you are so passionate about your dance that you have actually dedicated it in a large part to the cause of diabetes.
Yes, I am a type 1 juvenile diabetic and have been for some time now. And I am very fortunate to have always had the love of dancing, because dancing has saved my life in so many ways. It's a way that dance is used as a way to control blood sugars and to control my weight, and it has really benefited me in a lot of ways. And I can also use my talent and my career to bring education and awareness about diabetes, and to also let other people know that if they are also diabetic, that there's another way to exercise and to enjoy it and not be stuck at home wanting to running on a treadmill. They can do other things like dance.
You say through dance you can actually help to control your blood sugar levels? How
Yes,
is
you
that
can.
possible?
Dance is a form of cardio.
Okay.
So it's having enough cardio, you are able to exercise and eliminate blood sugars, which is very important, and it helps balance out the carbohydrates and everything else.
Now, I've just recently learned that Mary Tyler Moore is the national chairman of the Dance for Diabetic Foundation.
Yes.
Have you been involved with Mary Tyler Moore?
I haven't been involved with Mary Tyler Moore, but I do know a lot about her. She did start off as a cabaret dancer.
Oh, she did?
And she's also a juvenile diabetic. She had childhood diabetes. And through her career, she's also used that as a way to control blood sugars.
So there actually is a National Diabetic Month.
Yes, that's August.
It's August.
August.
Okay. Will there be any special activities coming up with that?
I'm sure there will be. I should be in a lot of different places in the Ventura County. I'm the spokesperson right now for the Landon Pediatric Foundation for juvenile diabetes, so I'm sure that we'll be doing a lot of things in August and so forth throughout the year.
Now, they say that diabetes can affect anyone at any time, and actually I found out that it's the most common chronic disease among children, and that it's getting worse and worse almost each year.
Yes.
Why do you think it's getting worse each year? Some people attribute it to the chemicals in the air, some people attribute it to diet. What is your take?
I think there's a lot of things. I would definitely say diet. Diet has a lot to do with it. Processed foods are definitely a big thing. The amount of time that children are playing on the internet and involved in video games and not getting the cardio that they need, running around and playing isn't like it used to be. Most kids stay home. They sit in front of the TV and they talk on the phone, and they don't get enough exercise for the amount and the type of foods that they're eating. And also depending on lifestyle and ethnicity, especially within the population here in Ventura, there's a big, huge Hispanic population, and diabetes is very high in the Hispanic population. A lot of that has to do with diet, because of the sugary foods that they eat, the corn, the flour tortillas, the rice, a lot of starch, potatoes, and they don't get enough exercise because of being home watching TV and playing video games, and they don't have, a way to burn that.
Well, what would be an optimum diet for someone who is concerned about diabetes?
I eat an organic diet, a very low carb diet. I do eat very minimal fruit, but a lot of vegetables, especially high green vegetables. I eat a lot of arugula. I also eat a lot of protein, chicken, and I do eat nuts and seeds, and that does help a lot with balancing my blood sugars.
Well, it certainly does wonders for you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you very much.
If you can dance half as good as you look, you must be an incredible dancer.
Well, thank you very much. I'm flattered.
Absolutely. Now, tell us the difference between a type 1 and a type 2 diabetic, and where does hyperglycemia come in with all of this?
Well, type 1 is it's a disease that you are born with. It's a virus, and it settles in the pancreas, and it does move to other organs and affect other organs. And usually you find that at an early age, from usually infant to early 20s. Type 2 is something that is brought on by poor diet and lack of exercise. It is also something that you can cure, whereas type 1 you cannot cure it. So a type 2 diabetic, by losing weight and eating the right foods and exercise, can reverse the side effects of diabetes and live a very normal, healthy life, whereas type 1, you are prone to insulin injections for the rest of your life.
So this is like a lifetime. If you come down with diabetes as a youngster,
Yes.
this is like a lifetime sentence.
Yes.
And I understand it can actually even be fatal.
If your diabetes is not under control, it can lead to heart disease, kidney failure. You can lose limbs. There's a lot of things that can happen. You're prone to infection. It is a very serious disease, and you have to be on constant monitoring all the time. And Lowe's hypoglycemia is just as scary. I do have hypoglycemia because I'm a type 1.
No, hyperglycemia, and the difference is not high.
Is low blood sugar.
It's low blood sugar.
It's insulin reaction.
So you can actually it's a reaction to your insulin shots?
Well, when you have too much insulin in your body, you can go into shock. Usually you get a little bit dizzy, a little bit shaky, a little bit blurred vision, and you get fatigued. If you don't catch it right away, it can lead to seizures and blackouts and strokes.
Wow. Have you been affected in this way?
Yes, I have. I could deal with it on a daily basis because of my constant activity. There is a lot of times where, because I exercise so much, I will inject insulin, and I've injected for the amount of food that I've eaten, but I'll do a little bit more exercise than I was anticipating. Now I have too much insulin in my system, and a lot of times when I go home and go to sleep at night, I will sleep through the symptoms of low blood sugar, and then I will end up having a seizure or a blackout, and it causes definite side effects.
Now, there's something called gestational diabetes.
Yes.
Now, this is when women are
Pregnant.
And I understand the hormones, pregnancy hormones, actually block the efficacy of the insulin. Is that what's going on?
Well, that and on top of it, there are a lot of women also have cravings, and they eat a lot of sugar.
Not just women.
Well, they say that the baby wants sugar, and the baby wants this, and the baby wants that, and you end up getting diabetes from it, and you have to be on a strict diet.
And can that be affected into the fetus?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
And so you can actually be born with diabetes.
Yes, you can.
Oh.
It is genetic, but you also they're also doing tests where they're saying certain vaccines are also a problem in bringing it on at an early age too. So there's a lot of different things that bring on diabetes. And again, chemicals that you're around, it might not affect you, but when you have children, it can affect that. So to try to live as pure as possible is my recommendation.
Okay. Now, you brought into the studio some of your own pieces. I understand you make all of your costumes.
I design all of my costumes for myself and my dance company.
And the dance company.
And the dance company. I make everything myself. I'm inspired by Ziegfeld Follies and old Hollywood classic movies. And a lot of my pieces have jewelry from archives of MGM. I had a friend who was a secretary for Mae West.
Wow, Mae West?
Mae West and Marlene Dietrich. And I've been able to use sequins and beads and broken jewelry from their costumes and been able to put them into mine.
Well, we just happen to have a few here. This gorgeous, gorgeous headpiece. Can you tell us about it and what's involved in making this? Are any of Mae West's or Marlene Dietrich's in here?
Actually, in that one, unfortunately, there is, I don't have any of classic Hollywood in this one. This is a brand new piece that I am debuting at this year's Salsa Festival.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you, thank you.
And it also has the complete outfit here. It's a three-piece.
This is the top.
This is the top.
The top.
Oh, you just put it up there for us?
The top.
And this is...
And this is very heavy. This is the bottom of the costume, which there's a lot of feathers in the back that are not attached to it at this moment. This is a work in progress.
And what are these little crystal...
Those are bugle beads.
They're called what?
Bugle beads.
Bugle beads. Okay. Now, how long would it typically take for you to put together... what's this outfit? Say this three-piece outfit.
3 to 4 hours.
What?
I work fast.
I thought you were going to say 3 to 4 weeks.
No, I work fast.
Wow.
I get a vision and I just jump right in and I put it together and I don't lift my head up till I'm done.
Amanda, when did all this happen to you? When did you become fascinated and like obsessed with dance and burlesque in particular?
Well, I decided as a toddler that I wanted to be a dancer.
As a toddler?
As a toddler. I told my mother that I was going to be a ballroom dancer, and she looked at me like I was crazy. But I knew what I wanted. I saw Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
I was also obsessed with the Ziegfeld Follies and the history, and I wanted to wear the costumes, and I wanted to find something that could bring both the ballroom dancing and the jazz and the ballet and also international dancing from around the world into a show. And I started looking at old burlesque, and the idea of burlesque, everyone thinks that it's about stripping, and it isn't. It has very little to do with that. There are some people who make that their focus.
Like a Gypsy Rose Lee type?
Very, for me, I'm more conservative than that. I do not strip down, and I don't wear anything that's not tasteful. I try to use the art of vaudeville and comedy because I want to be appealing to women and men at the same time without making anyone feel uncomfortable. And there needs to be class along with that.
Sure.
And I like to bring in the ballroom dancing with that and some of the international dancing as well as comedy and other things,
That's
to make
wonderful.
it classy.
I also understand that you have a little Lady Gaga outfit.
I have several, actually. I love Lady Gaga. I think she is a phenomenal artist. As far as the artists that I'm inspired by today, I would definitely say that she's one of them. I enjoy her because, one, she reinvents herself daily. She does make all of her own costumes daily, and she's in complete and total control of her career, and she's an advocate for humanity and being kind to one another and standing up for what she believes in. Some of her things are interesting, and not everything is in my taste.
Okay, well, let's stay with Amanda. In fact, Amanda, we've coming to the end of our segment here today. If the audience, I know they will be interested to find out more about you and what you're up to, where can they find out more information?
www.sugarfreeentertainment.com.
Okay, you got it. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm your host, Frank Malle.